shows, of him telling me to shut up.
I think he's about to start counting us in here in a matter of moments.
Counting us in.
Is that what he's doing?
But we're going to do something new. We're going to talk over the intro from now going on. See how that...
We completely eradicated our intro, didn't we, on the I Love CVille show?
Did you really?
Yeah, we just took it out.
Ah. You know what? Now that I think about it, I did notice there was no intro.
Good Friday morning, guys. What a great day to be alive in downtown Charlottesville in our building, the Macklin building on the I Love CVille Network. This is Real Talk with Keith Smith, presented by Yes Realty Partners, a name that you can trust, YRP, Keller Williams Alliance, and Yes Realty Partners. Today's program airs on 15 Facebook pages, 15 Twitter accounts, LinkedIn, YouTube, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, the Fountain app. What am I missing?
Periscope,
Periscope,
my favorite.
The newsletter, ilovecville.com, realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. I think I'm missing a few. And it's dynamic, so you can shape the discussion. Let us know where you want to go.
That's what I love about the show.
We have some macro data out. Interest rates appear to be inching over 7, and the inflationary environment we are in seems not to be subsidizing. And now a number of the financial institutions are maybe a little more concerned that a rate hike is on the near horizon. The thought was a pause for a period of time, but gas ain't dropping. And the cost of goods like groceries ain't dropping like we want them to.
But the recession never really happened. That's the other thing. I mean, it kind of impacted certain, but I think the Feds really wanted an old-fashioned knockdown, drag out recession, and everything I'm reading, that's just not happening.
We've had this is from an account that I follow closely on Twitter. We have had nearly 2 years of inflation at 5% plus. The average new car payment is now $800 a month.
Yeah.
The 30-year mortgage interest rate is at 7% plus. Credit card debt is at an American high of over $1 trillion. And he closes his tweet, Judah, by saying, have people just accepted inflation as the new normal? I think we have.
What can we do?
We have no other choice, right? Is that right? We have no other choice. We got no other choice.
It's not like you say, no, I'm not going to do this.
We have no other choice.
Well, and the difference, though, is it's not much, but salaries are increasing a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit, but pretty flat for that matter. But, jobs are not, normally when you have this kind of stuff going on, you have jobs just kind of get decimated, and that's not really happening. I think the job market is softening. I think it's a lot softer than what the data tells it out there. But I wanted to kick the show off on Wednesday. We had a listener. We were talking about a case study on 1005 Southwest Street in Charlottesville, and I did a little homework. I said that's what I was going to do, and one of the reasons I think it's still on the market, because I spent about 45 minutes on it, about 3/4 of the lot or the property is covered in the floodplain, so that's probably why it's still sitting on the market. And for the most part, from a development perspective, I think it's really can't be much more developed other than the existing home that's on there. But I promised everybody that's what I would do, and before somebody DMs me and says, where's the case study on that? Bottom line is 3/4 of it's in the floodplain. That's why it's on the market for 248 days.
Bill Howard's listing on
Hey, Bill.
5th Street in the urban ring, on the market for an extended period of time. I believe the asking price is $379,000.
That's exactly.
He's got in the marketing materials 7 units without a special use permit, up to 15 units with a special use permit. The DOM is long. The mayor just walked by the studio there. Johnny Ornalis, hello, welcome to
Johnny.
the program. Thank you kindly for joining us. Our buddy John Blair is watching on LinkedIn. You got the local nonprofit news outlet watching us on Facebook. Kevin's got a case study for you. He says, first, welcome back.
Thank you.
And then he has concerns about the looming commercial real estate implosion and how that could affect other aspects of real estate, including potentially residential through lending vehicles having bad commercial loans on their balance sheets. That is certainly a macro story that's out there. Your thoughts on that, Keith?
Yeah, so thank you, Kevin, for throwing that in there. I think I may have, on some past show, said the two areas as far as real estate that I feel is getting a little soft. It's more national. It's not really happening too much here, but it's the commercial and the multifamily. I think there's overbuilding going on in multifamily units. These are multi-level apartment complexes. I think we're starting to overbuild on that a little bit. But those two type of things, to Kevin's point, is not going to impact housing. I mean, I did a post this morning just to talk about this year over year, the same week year over year. So the same week ending last year, there's a 47% drop in new listings. So there's 47 less homes on the market.
47%.
47%, thank you.
Year over year, we've had 47% less homes sold in the car footprint.
No. Come into active.
Okay, active.
Come into active.
Okay.
Sold.
Give us the sold number.
Sold was about 10%.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to make is I took a look at what the median sales price was that week versus this week, and we are up roughly.
Well, if there is 47% less active listings year over year,
correct.
then that's going to be 47% less sold listings.
No. So
you need active listings to sell.
Well, yeah.
So that's what that is. If you have 47 less homes on the market this year than last year, then of course you're going to have 47% less sales.
Not necessarily, because
you're saying they can take them off?
No, it's just 1 week, right? So
Okay.
sales are.
This is a 1 week period of time.
It's a 1 week period of time, right? So the sales have been in the process for 30, 60 days.
Okay.
What you really want to compare that to is the pending number.
I would love to know pendings from January 1 until June 9th of this year versus January 1 of last year to June 9th of this year. What closed?
Got it. So
that'll give you a real feel.
And that'll give you a real feel, but I can't, unless you want me to do that live.
No.
I can't,
You don't have to do that live. Maybe one of the agents watching this program
But
can
I
do that
can
for
tell
us.
you those
That's
same.
Paragon, right?
The same week over week,
Yeah.
Jerry, there was 27% less pendings. So there was 47% less homes come on the market in this 1 week snapshot, week over week. But what I'm trying to get to, the price increase was roughly 7.5%. So we have less homes coming on the market.
And they're more expensive.
We have less going into pending. We have less going into sold in a 1 week snapshot, week over week. And the price and the appreciation is going up. The values are going up.
And
roughly 7%.
Interest rates are higher.
Interest rates are so high.
And even interest rates are even higher then.
Interest rates are even higher. So people are still buying and selling, but the point I wanted to make to Kevin's comment was I don't think, when I was trying to tie them together, I don't think the commercial softening and the multi-housing softening is going to impact the single-family, and these are single-family.
Devil's advocate for the sake of a talk show.
Single-family detached are these numbers I'm talking
Devil's advocate for the sake of a talk show, I would imagine.
Love it when you do that.
I would imagine
No comment
Kevin
on it,
Yancey
sir.
is thinking this as well. Many of those commercial loans are held by regional banks. Many of those commercial loans are held by regional banks that are in a little bit of financial peril right now. And
It's worse than that.
those regional banks have commercial loans that are coming due, and some of these values on these commercial loans have dropped. So they have loans on buildings that don't have the same value when those loans were issued initially. Furthermore, a lot of these buildings, these loans with these regional banks, tenants have pieced out. There's less people working in the building. So there's less rent roll coming to those buildings for the landlords. So the landlords have seen the value of their buildings drop. The landlords have seen their rent rolls drop. And the landlords have their loans coming due here shortly. Because we all know commercial loans are not done in 30-year terms. A lot of folks ask how I got this building. I did it in 5 and 10-year terms.
It's 5 years.
5 and 10-year terms. That's how we were able to do this and get the debt service cleared so quickly because the term was so short. Okay, so what Kevin is alluding to is if these regional banks have commercial loans coming due on buildings where values have dropped and tenants have moved out, will this impact these regional banks from a lending standard or from a willingness to lend moving forward? Will they be tighter with their money?
So it's
Kevin, is that what you're asking? I bet you that's what you're asking.
So it's interesting. I did a ton of reading. I was down there, and I was actually reading Barbara.
That's what he's asking.
Corrican's, from the Shark Tank. Anyway,
Barbara Corcoran.
Corkin, thank you, from the Shark Tank. Look, the other part of these commercial loans, which you didn't mention, most of them are tied to prime.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Kevin.
So as prime starts going up, and that's what's happening. So commercial loan folks, and believe me, I've been there, done this, had millions and millions and millions of dollars of commercial loans at one point. You start trying to renegotiate your terms with your lenders. So there's a lot of this renegotiations going on. Banks are not letting that happen because of the things you outlined, right? Value, commercial value. But I think what Kevin's trying to tie is the softening of the commercial going to impact the residential. And
You say the tie is commercial softening going to have lenders be less likely to lend money in residential?
It's two different animals, right? Commercial lenders are commercial lenders. Mortgage lenders, residential mortgage lenders they're very few.
Truist loans to both.
Yeah, but
I've taken residential and commercial loans from Truist.
But they're a handful.
Virginia National Bank, Blue Ridge Bank.
Okay, well,
Atlantic Union.
Let me try this a different way.
Virginia Credit Union.
Let me try this a different way.
Just off the top of my head.
Really? You didn't even say anything about the shirt. So let me try this a different way. They're two different departments. Yes, as far as as far as the big bank goes, could it soften their balance sheet? Could they go ahead and do? But on the commercial side, most of these banks, they're using federally backed programs from a residential side, right? Commercial loans are their own money. Typically, it's their own money. So there is a separation there. Look, I do not see, and I may be wrong, I do not see a super implosion of commercial impacting the residential market. However you want to tie it together. Tie it together with banks, tie it together whatever. You're just not going to see that. What is going to impact the market is what we talked about before, that we're 40 some odd percent down, almost 50% down on new actives, and the inventory just isn't going to get better. Buyers are still buying, right? We went up value of 7%, roughly 7.5% in that same week.
But values going up is a reflection of limited inventory, and when limited inventory is out there, that inventory becomes more expensive.
It's
supply
limited,
and demand.
It's limited inventory.
So basically, if you own a house, you get more appreciation. If you're trying to get into the game, it's harder than ever.
Correct, but it's always been difficult in my opinion. But you inventory, borrowing money is more difficult than it's ever been before, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The market is super stable, but we are about ready, and I've talked about this on Wednesday. Get ready for a volume type of business, about a 215, 216. So we're going to be about a 30% drop. I think by the end of this calendar year, you're going to see about 30% less sales year over year. It's going to impact the agents. I can assure you that much.
Lot of folks here jumping in the mix
Yeah,
here.
sure.
Many are asking. First, let me highlight some of the folks watching. Chris Zitzman is watching on the I Love CVille Facebook page. Welcome to the show. Johnny Ornalis is watching on Keith Smith's Facebook page. Hello.
Thank you.
Maggie Gunnels, que pasa, chica?
Hey, Maggie.
She's watching on your Facebook page. Your daughter in Seattle says, "Cool shirt, Dad," with an exclamation point.
There you go.
She's watching in Seattle.
There
She
you
knew
go.
you needed to hear that compliment.
Well,
She said that. Yeah.
There's an inside joke.
Yeah.
About, she gave me the shirt.
Oh, very nice. So she gives you the compliment from Seattle. She's about to move to Richmond. It's going to be nice to have you in the East Coast.
Yep. And she's going to be sitting in one of these chairs on a regular basis.
I'm very excited for that. Very excited for that as she pursues her real estate license. So I'm counting on Spotify, one comment on Spotify, one on Twitter, a text message to me, and then 3 DMs and one on Fountain. They
About
want
my
to
shirt.
know how much less inventory from from January 1 to June 1 has sold year over year.
Try that question a different way.
So if you could go January 1 to June 1, 2022, units closed, to January 1, June 1, 2023, units closed in the car footprint. That's what they're asking.
I can go back
He has it right there.
to the
I know.
notes.
He's very prepared. Keith
No,
Smith's always prepared.
this is from Wednesday's show.
I know. That's why I threw
Look
it
at
to
you.
you. That's
Look
why
at you.
I knew you had it.
My damn chemistry isn't quite there yet. It's got a
I knew
little-
you had that
It's
information.
got a little bit of sand still
My
left.
job is to make you look like a genius. I knew you had that information.
So how's that going for you?
All right, it's going well.
Yeah.
It's going great. Not only are you sun-kissed, but you're very, very smart.
Huh?
Give us those numbers, Keith. You're so prepared. You have that data?
I have
oh
that
my God.
data. Who knew?
Who knew?
Single-family detached car footprints, so that is Charlottesville, Albemarle, Nelson, Louisa, and Green. I drop new construction out. Those who watch the show, I do that for a very specific reason. So single-family detached, 2023, year-to-date, 892 units sold. We want to know for last year, right? Same time period?
Yeah.
1,178.
1,178 in 2022. There it is.
2021 was the banner year.
2020, hold on, I'm writing these down. 2022, okay, what was 21?
1,346.
1,346 in 2021.
That was the apex.
And that's year to date in
That's-
2023.
That is year to as of this morning.
As of this morning or last Wednesday?
No, I actually updated it this morning.
Okay, so that's as of June 9th.
Yep.
Wow. That's good data right there.
2022, let's keep on going down. 2022 was 1,027. 2019 was 1,101. 2018 was 1,144. 17 was 960. 16 was 935. And 2015 was 795. So we're somewhere between volume of sales, somewhere between 2015 and 2016. Here's the thing that we talked about. The difference is we're at 7 days on market right now. 2015 we were 43.
All right, so I want to make sure I have these stats right because these are fantastic statistics. And I'm going to make these very 7th grade simple terms.
Third grade, please, for me.
3rd grade, no, you're the teacher. I'm the 3rd grader. You're the teacher.
Stop it.
Judah's the PhD. I'm the 3rd grader. You're the professor.
He's a.
Okay, I'm the 3rd grader. And
He liked that.
okay, he's the PhD, Judah Wickower. You're the professor. He's learning from you. I'm the 3rd grader. And 2023 from January, you should listen to this, right? In 2023 from January 1 to June 9th, we've had 892 units sold, closed in the car footprint. In 2022, from January 1 to June 9th, we've had 1,178 units sold in the car footprint. In 2021, from January 1 to June 9th, we had 1,346 units sold in the car footprint. That means year over year, 2022 versus 2023, you've had a drop of, I'm going to bust out my calculator here, 1178 minus 892. You've had a drop of 286 units sold. This year versus 2 years ago, the peak of COVID, where it was insanity, where the better 7/8 Yoda Smith said even turkeys could fly in the wind. In 2021, the turkey sold 1,346. Versus this year, that's a drop of 892. So the turkeys that entered the game in 2021 because they saw every Tom, Dick, and Harry getting rich
You're
are
talking,
now
you're
facing...
You're talking about agents.
Yeah, are now facing the real world. 2021 versus 2023, a drop of 454 units.
And an increase in price of roughly $43,000. 2021.
You hear that?
2021.
That's bananas.
We are 339. And oh, by the way, the DOMs between 23, 22, and 21 were all about the same, somewhere between 5 and 7 days on market.
That's a phenomenal statistic right there.
Yeah, so just to make it clear to everybody, this is only, see?
See, the truck drivers thought it was a good statistic. Is that you, Kevin Yancey? Did you just drive by the studio?
He probably
Hey,
did.
Kev, where you going, bud? Come on in and come in for a cold beer.
I bet you any amount of money that's him.
Is that you, Kevin Yancey, over there? Where are you driving, buddy?
So, yeah, single-family detached, no new construction, car footprint, right? So it's a snapshot. I do single-family detached because that's the largest volume of units, so it gives us a best chance of doing some numbers. But again, if we want to compare it to 2015, then you might want to jot this number down.
Okay.
So in 2015, just to put it in perspective, It was 795 units sold the same time period.
799?
795.
795. So this is compares as he said, this is a 2015 market.
15, 16. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not quite 15. It's also not quite 16 because 16 was 935. So there was a pretty big jump between 15 and 16 in volume. But here's the difference. We go from 7 to 43 days. So remember we've been talking about, I keep a track on days on market.
Right.
So when those days we're not even even close to those type of days on market, right? So homes are moving quickly. They're appreciating in value. The where matters. We talked about on Wednesday, Buckingham, maybe not so much, right? The where matters. So you need to dig into the micro locations because micro locations matter. But between 2015 and now, we went from 270 in value. So if you bought a home that met this criteria in 2015.
2015, the median was 270?
Now it's 442.
Okay, that's another great statistic. In 2015, the median was 270,000?
Correct. Now you're up to 442.
270K. All right, I'm writing these
But
down.
just in 3 years, you grew $43,000 in
2023, the median is 442?
442.
Man.
270 in 15, 283 in 16, 290 in 17.
You hear that, Jay?
It just keeps on growing.
From 2015 to 2023, the median values have appreciated from $270,000 to $442,000. That is an astronomical level of appreciation.
And my little notebook hasn't done. Now the question would ask if I buy in 2000 and let me see how many years we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're
6,
talking 40% appreciation.
7, 8 in 9 years. So in 9 years from now, if I buy for 442, am I going to get 40% in appreciation?
Oh, actually, my math is off. Let's go 270,000 times 0.6 plus 270. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking 60% plus appreciation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. But it's more important than what percentages is one thing. It's the math difference. So not only do you have if you would have bought a home for $270,000 in 2015, right? You have what's the math difference between 270 and 440?
64% appreciation from 2015 to 2023. That is astronomical.
What's the cash difference?
From 442 to 270?
Yeah.
442 to 270 minus 270, sorry, doing some quick math, 172K.
So you have 172K. That's an appreciation, right? All right. But then you're going to have equity because you've been paying for 9 years. And if you listen to the show and you listen to Maggie Gunnels,
you overpay.
And you listen to all the realtors and the trusted professionals that are on Keith Smith with I can do this, Real Talk with Keith Smith partner thing, you're paying an extra into it. So you've got the potential of walking away with, over a couple $100,000 of cash at the closing, which then you can use to move up the housing ladder. But look, at the end of the day, we talk about this. We had this whole conversation on Wednesday about rentals, right? Right. This is proving over a 9-year scenario.
Get in the game.
You got to get in the game, right?
Yeah.
And look, we're not going to have in 3 years a $43,000 price increase in the next 3 years. But what we're going
to... You don't know that.
No,
I mean, you're saying the 3 years we just had?
No, I don't. I will be safe to say, I'm not going to bet my mustache.
Well, Keith, let me play devil's advocate with you.
Yeah, but you got...
And your daughter's saying you're doing a hell of a job. She says she loves when you come on the show and you bring data. She says data is such a cool way to understand things around you. I also like when you bring the data. Keith, if the inventory levels don't pick up, if we don't get more inventory to purchase,
sure,
that's a huge X factor.
It's a huge X factor.
Especially if it goes like 2-3 years like this.
It's a huge X factor, but what it does, the flip side, again, devil's advocate for the sake of, by the way, you have a nice shirt on.
Thank you.
By the devil's advocate for the sake of a talk show, as this 442 goes up, it's going to kick more and more people out of the buyer pool. Right. So
what was the stat you shared with us on the message? It was a damn good stat. Was it from Housing Wire?
Was it more than 24 hours ago? I can't remember.
It was a great. I read
actually, it was.
I may not respond all the time, but I literally read every time. It was a great read. Literally, you said a good read. Keith, I hope you understand this. Everything that you say or do or send to me, I am like osmosis. I'm like absorbing everything. I hope you like sincerely.
I'm gonna go buy you a sponge.
And remember it. Housewire, median income earners, Judah.
So see,
another
that's
one.
the difference. I read something that takes a
Mine sticks.
A couple more times.
Median income earners can only afford 25% of current listings.
That's exactly right.
Keith sent this to us. A new report finds that even with the existing inventory levels, the housing shortage would not be so severe if there were enough homes for all income levels.
Yeah. So the reason I sent that to you was to solidify these comments that we've been talking about from somebody other than ourselves, that, look, more inventory, more homes being built at different price points will impact it. But to the point, to what you read and to the point that you're trying to make, pardon me, as the price point starts going up, it will weed out a certain number of buyers. But look, I'll use my pool scenario that I love to use. So instead of being the 20-foot depth side of the 10-meter platform diving pool, the Olympic diving platform, it's maybe 15 feet now. The problem is, we were hoping the lower end of the pool, which is where the kiddie pool is, it'd start going a little bit deeper, which is the inventory. And
that side of the pool has gotten more shallow.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, that side of the pool is no longer a kiddie pool. It's like a kiddie puddle.
It's getting worse.
Maybe like a kiddie spittle.
It's getting worse.
Kiddie dribble. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
That just sounds very wrong at some level.
Ooh,
I haven't figured out what it is, but it does sound wrong. But that's exactly what we're roughly, I'm rounding it up, roughly 50% less inventory came on the market the same exact week a year ago. So that little freaking kiddie pool is now becoming a puddle. And that puddle, I think, is going to stay there for a very long time. So what, crystal ball, actually the Swami is going to be here on Monday.
The Swami is coming on Monday. We will roll out the red carpet for the Swami. The Swami has a taste of the finer things in life, perhaps like smuggled rum from St. Martin. The Swami,
smuggled is a strong word.
Swami also has great hair. The Swami is quite tan.
You
and
realize
the Swami may be wearing a Hawaiian shirt today. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Hawaiian shirt. It was a gift from my daughter.
I love it. I think it's awesome. I like when you dress down.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm
especially in the summer, it's hot.
I'm stretched down. I got my Birkenstocks on, which nobody can see.
Bill Tucker? Is Bill Tucker in the house?
Bill.
Where are you, Billy?
I got my Birks
on.
Oh,
he does have it. Those are new Birks. Are they?
I don't know, about a year old. Somewhere.
Birks are great. Do your Birks ever smell? I love Birks, but they started stinking. The cork on the floor, on the bottom.
Not me. Nothing.
Yours don't smell?
Nothing does
well,
stink.
That's why I had to switch to rainbows.
No. Maybe my difference is I stick them in salt water every once in a while.
Does that not destroy the Birk, though?
Oh, no, not. I bring these down to the beach all the time.
You take the Birk into the ocean?
No. Huh. But when you kind of... Anyway, we nobody wants to hear about how we walked around on the beach with me holding the thing, and nobody wants to hear that. So the units being sold are roughly 2015, 2016. I will bet you by the end of the year, we're going to be somewhere around that. We're going to be at that volume. Our days on market are probably going to stay roughly around under 10. They're going to stay in the single-digit numbers on that end of it. And our values are probably going to go up, depending on where you're at, somewhere between 3 to 7% year over year. We predicted this at least I did, at the end of last year, that this is what we're going to see this year. We're a little bit past 50%, and we're kind of holding true to that. Right? I don't think you're going to see double-digit appreciations. Some markets will, right? Some markets are going to be a little less. We didn't want to throw shade on Buckingham, but the reality is the numbers are the numbers, right? I bet you if we pull up Nelson County, we'll see the same thing. We'll see Nelson County probably has gone down a little bit same year to date, year over year on that.
Keith Smith bringing ammunition today.
Ammo.
Let's get to more comments coming in, fast and
comment.
furious. Grayson offers this comment
Hey, Grayson.
in North Downtown. Mr. Henderson, I appreciate you watching the program. He says, there's no question that the lending environment has tightened.
Oh, yeah.
Go if you're a small business and try to get a line of credit, try to refinance a house. We've done both. It's gotten way more difficult. I also am concerned that commercial lending could impact the regional banks with balance sheet concerns.
Yeah.
Grayson works in finance.
Yeah, so Grayson, if whatever local bank, we won't leave names on it, their balance sheet is heavy towards one side, it's going to impact them. It'll impact them just like it impacted them in the time of great unpleasantness, where their balance sheets or their, they had everything was on the residential side. Look, I can tell you, borrowing money now is extremely difficult. Yvonne might chime in and said that I told her when it took us 13 times to get the house that they are under contract in Richmond. And I told her this. I said, the hardest part is yet to come. And we've been working hard every day to get that across the finish line, because the lending environment is so strict. It just takes time, a lot more effort and time, which I love, because that means you got to bring skills to the table in order to get it to the finish line. I will just say that I said this earlier, even though I think we're looking at a 215, 216 market as far as real estate agents go and as far as how we do business, I can't tell you I am more excited now about real estate than I've ever been.
Of course, you got 37 years of experience, you're talented, you can negotiate, you got a Hawaiian shirt, you're sun-kissed, you're a good-looking guy, you got the better 7/8. You've seen a lot of different scenarios in this market.
You know what?
But you have said on the show you've never seen a market like this before.
Well, we said that on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and
That took me aback a little bit.
correct, because
But you've been doing this a long time.
Well, I've been
38 years?
I've been doing it a long time, but I've never really, since 87, whatever that is, 35 years maybe? Something like that.
36 years?
Yeah. But you ask me that question all the time, and I never really kind of processed it until Wednesday, until I looked at these numbers, because, we're at 2015. But the difference is, in 2015, we had 43 days on market. So that means inventory obviously was sitting way longer than what it's sitting now. We were at 7. So I am now thinking that, when you start getting to the 40 days on market level, which is this 2015, that's when you're going to start seeing this switch from a buyer's market to a seller's market, from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Got that backwards on that end of it. It's dyslexia. It happens.
You're doing well.
On that end of it. So, but we're like nowhere near. I mean, we're not even 10% of 43 is 4. So we're maybe 15% into the 43 days, the 40 days. We're a long way out. So I hope and pray banks were smart enough to diversify their portfolio. But I will tell you.
They often do not.
I will tell you.
Because they take the easy money, the low-hanging fruit.
I will tell you what a buddy of mine who's a president of a small regional bank up in New York, and he says this to me all the time.
We're not the smart guys in the room.
We are not. Literally, that's what they say.
Yeah.
If you think.
Well, I mean, you spend any time with the banker and you realize they're not the smart guys in the room. The banker is so focused on like the number, the black and white and the number, that they don't see the big picture.
No, the second part of it is right.
And I also get, and I'm not throwing shade. You find me an attorney that has a business mind, that can see the big picture, that understands small business and entrepreneurship. I'll pay that attorney $3.95 an hour. Find me one.
All day long.
Yeah.
Bill Tucker would be one.
Bill Tucker's one. Yeah.
Bill Tucker
That's why he's a partner of the show. We love Bill Tucker.
Bill Tucker.
He's undoubtedly one.
Bill Tucker's one of them. He's
Yeah.
he's also about making a deal happen, not making a deal blow up.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what you're speaking of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I will tell you what my
Because so many of them are so concerned with the minutia, it kiboshes the deal because it causes frustration, anguish, mucks it up.
a good attorney
Does not muck it up.
I do a ton of LOIs with big projects and stuff like that. And an LOI, letter of intent, is really just a 1-2 page outline of what the business deal is going to look like. A good attorney will take that LOI and turn it into a contract, and it should match, and it shouldn't be an issue. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it becomes more difficult and causes conflict between the two parties that are trying to come to some lawyers are really, really good at it. Some are not. Bill happens to be one of them.
Bill Tucker's the man?
Absolutely. But back to my buddy, right? Because I asked him the question, I said, why is that? He says, Keith, you got to understand, we're taught and we're trained to look in the rearview mirror. We're always looking in the rearview mirror, always looking at what happened last. So, look, if you want me to give me a business loan, what do you want me to give you? The last 2 years of your tax return. You don't ask me for what my projection. I mean, they do that, but they discount them. They don't really take a look at it. They very rarely look at the front of the hood and what's coming down, what's coming around. That's what makes you and I really good, because we're very capable of looking what's coming down the road. I knew I was going to lose $17 million because I saw it coming down the road. I just couldn't do anything about it. I was there. I tell this story all the time. When I have bankers walked in my office and say, hey, I heard you're doing a new project or thinking about a new project, I'll give you $10 million and pay you to borrow the money, I knew I was in a world of you-know-what. And guess what? I ended up in a world of you-know-what.
You learned a lot, though.
Best thing ever happened to me, to be honest with you. Wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
You learned a lot. You learned a lot. You rebounded, and now doing quite well. Let me throw this question to you here. Jonathan's asking this question.
They want to know where they got the shirt, right?
What's that?
Right? They want to know where I got the shirt. Right?
No. He basically saying, so deals to be had. Does the word deal exist in this market anymore?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. But you have to define what a deal is, though, right? So deals mean different things to different people. So if you're looking at a deal where if it's listed for $100,000 and you want to buy it for $90,000, probably not out there. But there's a lot more to a deal than money, right? And that's where the skill comes in, right? There's other conditions, other terms. I mean, timing, on a commercial environment, how much free time do I get to upfit it, right? So these things are all connected to numbers and dollars. But I can tell you, here we go, you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is going to be a sizzle reel. If it's in the right location, the right price, the right features, the right condition, and the timing is right, and who's on the other side is the right person, on the selling side, it's going to go. There's not a lot of negotiations room in it if it hits that. But if you start, you might be in the right location. It might be overpriced because it doesn't have the right features, doesn't have the right condition. Back to the USDA loan, one of the great things about the USDA loan is it allows you to renovate. You can do some work to a home, which not a lot of loan products do. So in any event, if
you're talking the Lake Monticello USDA loan that we're concerned is going away.
I'll bet you another bottle of what I bring from the Caribbean that it goes away.
Well, after reading what Carly described for the requirements of the USDA loan, it sounded like Lake Monticello rode that wave longer than it probably should have.
I think
because that ain't a rural environment, Lake Monticello, and that's what the USDA loan's geared for.
Well, it goes by number
of units, and you're well over that.
Well, it goes by number of people. So it's roughly 10,000. So if a community is over 10,000, that's when you're on the bubble. That's the reason it's on the list.
I mean, you got 4,300 homes.
Times 2.
Yeah, you average 2.25 people, 2.5 per home. I mean, people have kids.
I can do that. That's 16.
People have kids.
I know it's over 10.
4,300, what do you think? It's what do you think the average people per household is?
If you go ahead and Google it, they'll tell you it's like 2.2 something.
Is that, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Memory serves. I think it was like 2
and a quarter. Let's use 2 and a quarter.
So 4,300, is 4,300 a good number?
Sure.
Times 2.25? You're looking at basically 10,000 people. 96.75. And we both know, I hope it stays because it's an opportunity for people, but I wouldn't say Lake Monticello is rural.
Great product though, man.
But whoever designed and developed the acres, that person was a genius. Whoever designed and developed and built the acres in Lake Monticello, that is the quintessential design and develop guy.
Did my fee just go up? Is that what
I
just
just
happened?
love you, buddy.
That's what just
You're
happened.
my boy, Blue.
Yeah. So I was going to try to quickly Google it, but what was your number that it came out?
Well, it was 9675. So I did 2.25
Yeah.
times 4,300.
So we're-
basically a 10G.
Well, we're right on the bubble, and
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. It's right on the bubble. It depends on how they actually do it, and they use the U.S. Census data and yada yada yada. So it might just skate just underneath it. We might get away with it. Then on the other hand, we don't know the rest of the criteria. But look, like I said, between Wednesday and today, I got 6 reach outs. 3 of them are from the lake, and 3 of them, they were cops, teachers. I had one that was a carpenter, so they were tradespeople that took advantage of this program, that the carpenter took advantage of the program so that they could go ahead and finish their homes. They got a little bit of capital to go ahead and do it. So it's just a great program. Look, housing affordability is just, we're going to be talking about this until I retire.
Your daughter says, in my opinion, we just got a deal on our house. I concur. You undoubtedly got a deal on your house. And I'll tell you, one of the most strategic endeavors I've ever seen in real estate is the counsel you got from your agent with the delaying of the appraisal of the crib that you purchased. By delaying that appraisal, the value of your house jumped considerably, which certainly helped in your financing and loan environment.
Well, talk about deal, right? So there's more of a deal, right? So I knew, because I did my homework, and I did my research.
You were a maestro with that deal.
Huh?
I was arguably, because I had intimate
Hold on.
knowledge.
Maestro.
Maestro.
We had intimate knowledge
My
of
hearing
this
aids.
deal because you had the permission of your client to share. Your
Yeah.
client was your daughter.
Yeah, sure.
So you shared firsthand what happened.
Sure.
And that intimate knowledge really gave everyone a snapshot of the value proposition you offer clients.
Yeah, so it was
An experienced agent would have probably flubbed that up, or a non-experienced agent. Because of your experience, you really protected cash. Because of your experience, you preserved cash out of pocket for your clients.
Oh, substantial.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of folks would have screwed that up, though.
Well, not only that, without giving specific numbers and details, they're going to close on that home.
She says, and I'll he's told this story. She says, and I'll tell my dad we were about to back out of that whole deal about 30 minutes before we got the news of the new appraisal price. We know. And he said, nah, stay, right?
Yeah, so look, and I would have given that counsel to any client.
100%.
Any
It was the right counsel.
Look, no, don't panic, don't hit the panic button. This is going to work. I've done the homework, I've done the math. Again, back to the 6 things, right? So remember number 6, the who on the other side? We were able to do this because the agent on the other side in Richmond is a pro.
Well, and you also had the benefit. Let's cut to the chase.
No, because I reached out to that agent. I said, look, I need some help. I need someone, because I don't have the inner workings of the Richmond MLS. I got it on the periphery, but that's another big word.
That's a good
but
word. That's a good word.
On the periphery, yeah.
Yeah, good job.
I think.
It's a good word.
Yeah, periphery, I like it. Outside, periphery. I impressed myself. I forgot what I was going to say.
Your daughter goes, we panicked, and it hurts to say my dad was 100% right.
Just
You're
100%?
It's 100% right.
100%.
Saved you a lot of money.
Well, yeah, let's not jinx it. We're not closed yet, okay?
Yeah, Yonna doesn't like that. We're not supposed to talk about them until they close.
We don't like that because, they always got that little voodoo out there
Yeah.
that you can...
Yonna taught me that.
You never know. You never know. There's that little thing called karma
Right.
that floats around out there that you got to always be on the right side of. But look, back to the 6 things, right? Thank you for the kind words. Look, after 35 years, if I'm not really good at this, I probably should have got out a long time ago.
You got 36 years. 36
36.
years.
See, well, I gave myself
36 years.
I gave myself 1 year.
You got a lot of practice.
I gave myself 1 extra year. 1 extra year of a gimme on it. But how you convey that to the client So you talk to me about all the time. So, what new skills are we going to need? And that they're old skills to go ahead and do that. It's this communication thing. You've got to communicate, and you have to be not firm, but you have to be confident in your decision making. I was confident that we were going to hit. Actually, I didn't think we were going to hit the number that we hit. I thought we were going to hit it about $10,000 or $15,000 under, but we didn't. So they're closing with a substantial amount of equity.
Yeah.
As soon as they walk in the door. But that's because we did our homework and we partnered with a really good agent on the other side.
You also had the benefit of the 60 days of seller possession. Your seller needed to stay in the house post.
Oh, no. We kind of tweaked all that a little bit.
Okay. Is that not an option anymore?
We didn't need to. We just tweaked out the closing date.
Okay. You just pushed it out.
We just pushed the closing.
Yeah, because you knew they needed to stay, so you had no eagerness to close quickly. And they're in Seattle. They didn't need to come right away. They got a crib that they can live in. The folks that you're buying the house from needed to stay longer, so this worked out beautifully. This is legitimately all the stars aligning.
No, it's making all
the stars align.
It's forcing the stars. It's taking these 6 things that we talk about all the time and putting them all into the right funnel to spit out to get over here. I'll leave her name out. I had an interesting with 2 very seasoned real estate agents that actually been in the business a little longer than us on that end of it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Do
me a favor, do a one shot with him.
He's gonna flick me off.
Let me know when you got a one shot.
He's gonna flick me off.
Let me know when you got a one shot.
All right. You put it on the studio camera.
Oh, did you? Oh man.
Oh, Judah. I love this
Judah.
guy. I love this guy so much.
Did you tweet? Did you?
love this
did
guy
you do the
so
studio
much.
cam?
No, he didn't do that. Judah's a good guy. I just got the 1 finger salute.
You're going to get 2 of them here in a minute.
Comments. Go ahead.
This agent who has a few more years in 2 agents, a few more years. They were talking about. We were having a little kind of small brokerage chat. About, okay, so what's going on in the future? What are we going to look like in 2023, 24? What kind of skills we as agents are going to have and need that's different than in the last 24 to 36 months, that kind of thing, and yada, yada, yada. And it all leveled down to the ability to communicate an extremely complicated process to a client and keep their faith and trust through the end, and for them not to watch that gosh darn thing on the wall and not to panic. And
he's talking about the CNBC that's constantly on the.
Well, what crazy enough that comes on? The really thing you really need to do is just watch Real Talk with Keith Smith, and then you'll be in good shape. No, but we were very fortunate. We had a bunch of great people, bunch of great lenders going on there. We had them running 2 parallel loans. I convinced them to do that, so because we weren't sure which was going to come out, so that they would end up ending in a good spot, and we did. Now, if this damn thing doesn't close, Jerry,
hey, don't put it on me.
She's going to come down and beat my ass.
Don't put it on me.
No, not put it on.
Don't put it on me. Comments coming in fast and furious. Bill McChesney, hello, welcome to the program. This question's come in from Spencer. Walk us through how he got the appraisal to jump so much.
I didn't get the appraisal to jump so much.
Right. The market.
What I did
was understand the market.
Was understand the market.
Yeah.
And what I did was.
This is one of the coolest things you've ever done in my book, just to let you know. And it just happened to be for one of your most special clients ever. This is honestly one of the coolest things I've ever heard in real estate, what you did here.
Yeah, to me, this is.
I know this is your everyday, but a lot of people don't hear this aspect of it, though.
I don't mean to be
arrogant, is what you're going to say.
Not arrogant, but
this is your everyday. You do this every day.
Let me try it a different way. If I couldn't have figured this out after 36 years,
you're in the wrong business.
I'm in the wrong business, right? So the problem happened was the trigger got pulled for the appraisal faster than I told him to do it, because I did my homework through this agent, again, number 6, who's on the other side matters. We had an agent that wanted to participate, wanted to work with us on it, to be 2 professionals trying to get both clients what they hit a happy place, right? So, I did the homework, and I did not want to have the information released for that until I said it was okay, because I was tracking through this other agent when the other units that we lost. Remember, we lost 13.
No, that was, you won 13. You lost 12. That was
we were on number 13. We
yeah,
lost
you won 13.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We lost 12. So we were tracking these 12 homes, right, and tracking when they were going to close. And I needed to time our appraisal to those closing it. And if that would have happened, then the number spit out what the number spit out. And unfortunately, I did not have a trust. Anyway, we didn't have so much trusted advisors on the lender side that I'm not throwing shade at anybody, and we're not talking about specific lenders at this point. But it was just a matter of knowing the market. I took the time, I studied the market, I did my job. I said, guys, this is not what you want to do. And this is why, and did the math for them. If you do it this way, this much cash is going to come out of your pocket. If we go ahead and roll the dice a little bit, this is a little risky, and that's some agents don't like to do this, right? Some agents are risk averse. I'm not so much, right?
Yeah, you're not risk adverse at
I'm
all.
not risk averse
At all.
I don't call this risk. Risk is going to freaking Vegas. That's
Yeah.
risk.
Well, you're not risk adverse because you know how to play the game.
I know how to play the game.
Yeah.
I know my odds. My odds are not Vegas odds. My odds are very much so in my favor. So yeah, it worked out. But it's a huge risk to take, right? I am 2 young couples with a young child, a young couple
With your granddaughter.
I'm trying not to make it about my family.
Okay.
A young couple, that's what I'm screwing up here. Young couple with a young infant listened to me, took me as a trusted advisor, and I said, look, this is how we need to do this. And they listened to me. We're very fortunate. All our clients do that. And I'll tell you, in the beginning of it, and I'm just going to say this and get this out there, if the beginning of it that they're not listening to us, a trusted advisor, that relationship's probably not going to work out, right? We're respectful. Ultimately, if that couple said, no, I want to do this, after I tried to talk them out of it, they're the client. We're going to have to go and do this. But I'm going to make sure in writing they understand this is how I think you should do this. But, it's a two-way street, right? Anyway. We did good.
You're good at your job. You're good at your job. This one from Kelsey watching the program.
I'm also the one that gets tagged to solve all the problems too.
Yeah, you're a problem. We put out fires. That's what we're good at.
I tell this story all the time.
That's literally what we do.
My father, my grandfather.
You're a fireman.
New York City fireman.
Right.
I put out fires.
Yeah.
Just happens not to be flames.
Right. Put out the fires. It takes a mindset to put out the fire, because it's a mindset that doesn't panic.
The third, that's exactly right.
A mindset that is able to realize that everyone around them is like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? Then you have to be the one that's the stabling force.
You know what I see when people start doing that?
Opportunity.
That's exactly
Me
right.
too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see opportunity as well.
I see
Because people
opportunity.
are scared. And when they're scared, they don't think clearly.
I'm not talking about opportunity to take advantage of situation. I see it as an opportunity to say, okay, we can do this.
1,000%.
This is how we can do this.
Yeah.
We can get this thing done.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Chemistry's working.
What time is it? 11:15.
Isn't the chemistry working?
It is working. It's the coffee, though. It could have been the pre-show drink, too.
This is from Kelsey. Could he walk through
There's nothing wrong with us having a sip in the morning.
No. Kelsey says, can he walk through how appraisals should be done and what time and how they're initiated?
Yeah, so that is really a great show.
That's for Scott.
Scott.
Right?
But I can give you the 44,000-foot version of
Yeah.
it. So generally what will happen is contract gets done, gets circulated out to everybody, gets circulated out to the lender. At that point, the lenders start having control of scheduling appraisals. There's a bigger picture to this here. Let's go a little bit of history lesson. Pre-time of unpleasantness, the lender would handpick people. Hey, Jerry, I need you to thing appraise at X dollars or whatever it is. Well, that has all went away. So now what happens is all these things end up in pools. So the appraiser goes out to the lender sends out to a pool, somebody picks it up, they schedule it, and they go ahead and do it. When that is released to the pool, the lender controls that. So what I did is I picked up the phone and called the lenders, because there was two of them in this picture that was doing it, and said, I do not want you to release that until I say so. One listened to me, one did not. The one that didn't listen to me,
Peace out.
there's a 70, and because that didn't happen, there was a $70,000 delta. 70,000, guys.
That's astronomical. We're talking what, 12%?
$70,000 delta. Which meant they would have had to bring $70,000 to the table, plus the closing costs, right? To go ahead and do that. Plus I got to move across country, yada, yada, yada. Versus now we're over the contract amount substantially. They still have to bring cash to the table, which is no normal closing thing, but they don't have to bring that extra shortfall. Because remember, we negotiated in the contract on this deal that there was an appraisal gap. So my goal, my job was to try to get that appraisal gap either to zero or completely on the other side. So to answer the question, what's number 5? Timing. Timing is everything. Knowing when the right time is to do something that takes skill, that takes years in the business, that just takes knowing who's in the game, knowing the property, knowing both sides, knowing the buyer, knowing the lender, and kind of grabbing, I don't want to say control, but help steer the ship into the right direction.
Keith, you're crushing it tonight. Keith Smith, Yes Realty Partners. Questions coming in quicker than we're going to be able to get to here. This question...
We'll save them for Monday.
Yeah, we can save them for Monday, undoubtedly. Vanessa Parkhill.
Hey, Vanessa.
Earlysville. We love you, Vanessa Parkhill. I sincerely mean this,
Always
Vanessa.
has kind things to say. She's a beautiful person.
When you make the programs better, Vanessa.
Amen.
She says, if a person is not in CVille and can't hire Keith, what is your advice for finding the advisor in your area that can be the trusted advisor like Keith?
Great question.
She wants, how should the advisor be vetted? And she does not want to run into the not so trusted advisor like the lender Keith just referenced. Vanessa, is this for potentially one of your scions? Maybe the athletic, intelligent, good-looking Lee, potentially?
So let me answer that question. A large percentage of our business
is referrals.
Is exactly this.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is Vanessa will call me.
Uh-huh.
We'll talk about it. We belong to 3 referral networks that are in the country. We'll figure out where you're going. I just did one in Malaysia, of all places. So what happens here is I get a phone call, we communicate, we find out exactly what the client wants to do, what they want to, how they want to do it, so forth and so on. And I'll tell a story about that, how on the beach I actually helped somebody in Tucson. Then what happens is I reach out to these networks and I phone interview each one of these referrals. So in order to be in these referral networks, you got to have a certain amount of years in the business. You're completely vetted. You have to really know your business. But what I do is I vet them, and then we stay in contact through the project. So basically, I'm the middle person. I basically subcontract it out. I'm the middle person. But literally, there's a friend of ours that owns a restaurant in St. Martin who is moving to Tucson on the freaking beach. We had a conversation. I said, not a problem. Went into my network, knew exactly what he wanted, went ahead and connected with a real estate agent in Tucson. Actually, talked to 6 of them, pick the right agent, put them together, and I'm in the middle negotiating or helping back and forth. So when this restaurant owner, a friend of ours in Grand Cas, has a problem, I'm in the middle of it. And we help navigate and we help manage it. So just DM me, Vanessa, I can help you. We do this all over the country. About 30% of our sales are like this.
I put you guys I tagged you guys in a thread. I also suggested the DM. Any of those that are watching out of market, and I'm looking at our...
Just put my cell number in there.
Okay, yeah,
Please.
I can do that, sure.
It's
Absolutely.
Vanessa, it's best to text me.
Okay, yeah, let me do that. I can do that, sure.
Vanessa, if you're listening, it's 434
Oh, wow.
531
Okay.
0795.
I mean, let's cut to the chase. His phone number is all over the internet, so it's not like... I mean, now, when he started giving away his home address, I'm like, dude, come on.
Dude, guess what's all over the internet? My home address.
Here, I'll text her. I'll put in the feed your cell
434
number.
531 0795.
There you go. There you go.
Text me, and we'll get you hooked up with the right person. Stay in the middle of it.
So I want to throw... He does a ton of referral business. So I'm looking on the heat map. You got literally folks, Richmond, Short Pup, Lynchburg, Northern Virginia, folks in North Carolina.
We can help anybody in any of those.
He can help all you guys. So we see a lot of people watching the show out of Central Virginia, and I think why they like the show outside of Central Virginia, because we have fun, we talk about real estate, and people are passionate about it. The reason we're highlighting this is if your morals and your values align with Keefe's, which I think they probably do, because this guy's a high character guy, he can still help you if you're not in this market.
That happens to have a really great shirt.
Yeah, multiple people have said, is it a Tommy Bahama? Multiple people are asking.
I don't know.
Well, you want me to, okay. Why don't you put it on
Are you going to come over here and check
one
my
shot?
tag? No, it's not. It's George or something. I don't know.
Tommy Bahama? Oh, this is George.
Yeah, it's George.
Yeah.
Don't
You're doing
be,
a good job.
don't be, go sit in your chair. Go sit in your chair. Weirdo. You're a weirdo.
It's a George.
You're a weirdo. I don't know. I just put it on. I ironed
like
it and I put it on.
Your daughter gave it to you.
Yeah.
You're getting some props.
You want me to read too? Yeah.
I like when
Does
you do
it-
everything else.
Does it got pictures? I'm good.
He's so good at his job. He's hilarious too.
Has it got pictures on it? So to talk about that, even on the sales side, I mean, and not to be the same sales pitch thing here, but we helped somebody in Connecticut. I think I sent you that.
You did?
That thing. We helped somebody in Connecticut, watched the show, was having trouble selling their house, felt like they had the wrong representation, and we spoke. And I reached out to my network, found the right person. You know, the bottom line was they had an agent that overvalued the home substantially. They thought it was overvalued, but they didn't fight it. And frankly, they never bothered asking to prove the numbers. Connected them with an agent, priced it right, because price matters, and they put it on the contract in a day. And we get a little referral fee out of it. So I can buy a George,
Tommy Bahama.
a George shirt.
Carly, I love when you watch the show, Carly. Carly Wagner has really been making the product better lately. You ready for this one? This one's a legit one.
Oh,
So
legit. Hold on.
Okay.
I need a fresh piece of paper.
You're going to focus on this one.
Okay. Focus Smith, is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, when
Focus
Carly's asking, Carly's in the game.
Okay,
KWA.
I got a clean piece
When
of paper.
she's
Let's
asking
go. Come on,
questions, you got to
come on,
focus.
come on. People,
Do different loan originators use different pools of appraisers? I find that some appraisers are more conservative while some are far more generous. I thought that was because different underwriters were more risk adverse and thus stuck with the more conservative appraiser pools.
Yeah.
Also, I find the reason for the appraiser often dictates how conservative or generous the appraisal is. For example, appraisers seem more conservative for HELOCs, but generally align well with new purchases. I don't know if this is truth, but I've witnessed it in practice. Maybe a question for Scott. Please ask Keith.
Yeah, so that's definitely a question for Scott, but I can tell you certain lenders, because, well, I think it's kind of flushed itself out, but back right after the time of Great Unpleasantness, if you took a lot of money from the government, you were in a different pool, right, of an appraisers. But there is a basic one pool for residential appraisals, and they go out. The banks, the lenders, This is all blind to them. They are not allowed to communicate in any way, shape, or form with the appraiser other than order it and receive it. You know the only group of people that actually can talk to the appraisers, you know who they are?
Tell us.
Real estate agents. So what we do, and we did this with the house, we partnered with the agent down in Richmond, but we do this for any home that we're selling. Yonna's out doing it right now. We go ahead, we got an appraiser coming
Love you,
in.
Yonna.
We have an appraiser coming in. It's either, I think it's today, this afternoon. We leave this book of all improvements. We leave comps. We leave all kinds of information on the thing with a nice little cookie. Hey, thank you for what you're doing, right? Thank you for being out. Here's some information. If you have any questions, please call us, right? Appraisers love that. Some don't, but most of them love that because the market is moving so fast and changing so much. You know, current data is always good for them. Here's the contracts that are closing, yada, yada, yada. They have access to all that data, but if you just go the extra step and do it. Back to the question, I'll tell a story. My other daughter, we helped buy a house in Connecticut. You remember the story with the $100,000 delta?
Harry, if you're watching, jump in here.
Well, what happened with daughter number 2 in Richmond was the same thing. The appraiser number 1 that came in was not from the area.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And that's the problem with the pool scenario. You'd never know who you get in it, right? And you can contest it, you can go through all this stuff, but the bottom line is once it's done, it's done. It's really hard, unless there is a blatant error, wrong address, wrong property, you know, something really blatant. An appraisal is just an opinion. And what are they like? What they're kind of like what everybody.
We got a lot of opinions around.
It's kind of like everybody's got one and they all stink kind of thing. So, you know, it's kind of like that. But it was really hard for the second one not to do this because we provided all the data for this person. The first one also did it in 3 days, which is freaking insane. How do you do this shit in 3 days? The other one took 2 weeks. So something isn't right. I'll tell you, my son-in-law.
The out-of-town guy did it in 3 days.
Yeah.
That sounds like a BS desktop appraisal.
No, he was there because it was live pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, it just, it's like anything. There's very few of you, right? So that's a hard comparison to do. But it's like anything. There's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's good lawyers, there's bad lawyers, there's good real estate agents, there's bad real estate, and bad or whatever. But
Very few of you.
yeah, particularly the shirt.
Kevin.
So do we want to talk about the boo-boo on the lip? We don't want to talk about that? Is it obvious? Can
I don't think
see
people
it?
can see it.
Got
Can
it,
you
yeah.
see the boo-boo on the lip?
I didn't piss Yonna
Yo, Vaughn,
off.
can you see the boo-boo on the lip?
I didn't piss
I
Yonna.
can't see the boo-boo on the
I
lip.
didn't piss Yonna off. So I just want to get that on the table.
We didn't think you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was from the medicine that I take in the sun. It does that.
That's good. You're good. You crushed it today.
Yeah,
Came in with
nothing.
We came in with a very thorough list of topics to talk about, and I'm glad we prepared for today's talk show.
Huh? Is that what we did? Yeah, that's what we did. No, you know what? I got to tell you, I love doing this stuff.
Oh, it's so fun, dude.
I love doing this stuff.
And it's particularly, I love doing all the shows. This one's particularly enjoyable because of the chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
You just go and shoot the, you know?
Two guys shooting the shit.
Yeah, right. It's not work.
Really?
You just go in and talk
Yeah, well,
about stuff we like, right?
mostly talk about judo.
We're waiting for Judah to talk.
Yeah.
Judah said maestro.
You know, the thing, you know, all my 60 years on the planet has taught me this, a couple of things. But one thing for sure, the guy that's the quietest is the one you always got to pay attention to.
12 plus years of paying attention
Because
to Judah.
when he opens up his mouth and says something,
Judah's 12 years. Didn't you start in July?
I
believe you started in July 12 years ago.
we talk for hours. And
Was it June?
End of June.
It was? Okay.
12 years.
12-year anniversary is coming up in 2 weeks for Judah Wickower. Carly says this, persons of
Judah, go
interest.
get another sip. You deserve it.
Persons. That's why we have it here.
Or 3.
That's why we have it here.
Or 3.
He says persons of interest in the transaction can also communicate with the appraiser, namely the party paying for the appraisal.
Correct.
On my personal transactions prior to becoming an agent, I always was sure to be there and communicate with the appraiser directly.
Perfect.
My agents never bothered, but I was not working with a talented agent like Keith.
Oh,
Carly, that last
Carly,
sentence
I
is
love
good.
you.
Carly.
I love you, Carly. You can follow me around all day long if you would like.
Maybe you invite Carly on the program.
Yeah, Carly, come on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I've never met her in person.
Yeah.
Feel like I know her, but
Yeah.
never met her in person.
Come on, Carly. I gave out my phone number. Text me.
You think?
No, seriously. If we,
How
if
many
we,
people you give that phone number out to?
Oh,
a
hell,
lot.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, let's cut to the chase. Someone having your phone number right now, is that even a breach of privacy in 2023?
No,
it's
but-
not.
but let's-
especially when you're employed, self-employed.
Let's play a little game. Look on your phone
Okay?
and tell me. Hold
Okay.
on a second.
I'm looking.
You know how to figure out how many contacts you have on the phone?
Yeah. I have a lot, dude.
I wonder who wins.
Do you know how to find the contacts?
I do.
Okay, well, you might have to tell me that. You know how to find the exact number?
You go to the very bottom of contacts. Just hit Z,
Okay.
right?
Hit Z, got it?
Z, right.
And then go to the bottom?
Yeah, just keep on pulling it up. You'll see it.
Oh, I see. I have 4,845.
I win 5,950.
Let me see.
You don't believe me?
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Hold on. Let me put my Birkenstocks on.
No. Okay, if he's going to come on, I believe you.
Hold on.
4,845 for me.
You went ahead.
4,845 contacts. That's a boatload. I believe you. Yeah, he's got 5,950. So you got approximately 1,000 more contacts than me.
Yeah. I've also been on the planet.
A little bit longer. Yeah.
But
See, I guess his point is we know a lot of people.
we know a lot of people.
That's your point, right?
Well, it's interesting for the agents that are watching out there, right? There's a formula, and maybe on Monday I'll do it. I'll talk about. There's a formula of how many contacts you have on your phone. Somebody actually did the research on this versus the amount of money you make. It's actually there's actual.
It's a no-brainer.
There's an
889 for Carly Wagner contacts on her phone.
Yeah.
Guys, pull out your phone. Scroll to the bottom.
That's on an iPhone. I don't know what it is.
It's on an iPhone. You
I
can
don't-
see your number.
Hit
This
Z.
is hit
Roll.
Z.
What do you got, Judah?
How many contacts?
Yeah.
Not as many as you guys.
What do you got? Just check it out. It's not a personal question.
5,950.
I basically have 5,000 contacts. You basically have 6,000 contacts.
And you clean out your contacts. Any duplicates you always.
Oh, I have no duplicates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same here.
No duplicates whatsoever. Because you can now, it lets you
It does it-
consolidate the
it
duplicates.
does it all the time.
So we shouldn't have duplicates, right? What's
Yep.
yours?
246.
246. There you go, J-Dubs.
Probably half of them I haven't seen or talked to in 10 or 15
Well, that's a
years.
great question. Of that 5,000, how much do you reach out? It's important, and we should do a show. We should do a show about, I've dropped the bomb on Wednesday and today that, we're going to be losing 30% agents, I think, somewhere between now and this time next year. We should do a show about, basically the class I taught down in St. Martin to the agents about how do you take these 5,000 contacts and grow it,
That's a great show.
and how you grow it.
I mean, let's cut to the chase. If you're a new agent or if you're in any kind of
How do you
business,
take that 200 and grow it?
that's if you're in business, if
Yeah.
you're self-employed, if you're a new
all
agent, if
about
you're in the
this.
mortgage business or
It's all
anything,
about this.
maybe one of your KPIs, your key performance indicators, should be every month you grow your contact list and you actually should check the number. Maybe that should be emphasized a little more.
So we spend a lot of time coaching and mentoring agents, and we focus a lot on contacts. Because look, our business,
It's who you know.
we have never bought a lead, one lead at all.
That's legit.
We refer out. We get referrals. We get somebody of this 6,000 contacts knows somebody else. So we'll talk about that. There's this whole thing I do about A+ and A, and where do you put them and you move them around.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole class. But we'll put that together. It may bore the people that are trying to buy.
I don't think that's going to bore people.
For agents, it's a good little class to do.
Weekend plans as we close?
I got to get some bike riding in.
Okay. There you go. I know
got it.
you enjoyed that.
Got a race coming up, and I'm riding mid-July, a one-way race from Seattle to Portland. It's about 210 miles, so my sorry little butt needs to get back into shape. And catch up on some work.
There you go. Keith Smith.
Maybe work on the tan a little bit.
The tan's looking sharp, my friend. You crushed it today.
Thank you. Had a lot of
Dude,
fun.
this is a joy.
Oh, look at that, 11:36.
It was
Sorry.
a joy. No, dude.
Sorry.
Keith Smith, Yes Realty Partners. Guys,
Check the partner tab, please.
I legitimately have seen this man go to the wall for clients, and they send him Christmas cards, give him gifts. I've seen clients cry in his arms, literally thanking him for what he and Yonna have done for them. Work with an agent or agents, he and Yonna, that align with your moral compass. Yes Realty Partners, Keith Smith.
Yeah, so seriously, anybody out there that needs some referral help, just call that number I put out there, and we'll get you taken care of. I'll make sure you're taken care of well.
There you go. Keith, Judah, Jerry, Yes Realty Partners, archived at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Click the Partners tab for the trusted advisors you can count on in real estate. I Love CVille show in 50 minutes.
And particularly if you need help in Hawaii, and fly me out there. I'll be more than happy to help
If you want to go to Hawaii, bring Keith with you. Thank you kindly for joining us. So long, everybody. Show us a breeze.
Yeah, man. I love doing it.
That was awesome. Absolute breeze.
Okay.